It's the park board meeting for Tuesday, May 17th, 2022. There's a motion to call the meeting to order.
I move the meeting to order.
Okay, second.
Second.
Okay, we have a new member for the park board.
Right.
Eric.
Can you stand and raise your right hand, please? I, Greg Gillahan, do solemnly swear that I possess all the qualifications of the office of park board member as prescribed by law, that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Missouri, provisions of all laws of this state affecting cities of this class, and the ordinances of the city of Kearney, Missouri, and faithfully demean myself in office, so help me God. So help me God. If you would sign that, I'll give that to Jim, and then I'll turn. Okay.
Welcome.
Welcome to the park board, Greg.
Thank you.
Would you like to tell us about yourself and why you're interested in being on the park board?
Certainly, yeah. I've been a Kearney resident since about '96. Was involved in KHRA for a large number of years before it became absorbed by the city, and have just always had an interest in running sports and leagues and stuff with different youth. When my wife and I became addicted to pickleball several years ago, we took interest in the existing courts that were here and came before the park board at that point in time and petitioned to get the lights on. And we've seen the sport grow just tremendously since then. Of course, the sport itself has grown tremendously. I don't think it's anything we've done. It's just the sport's very popular and continues to grow. And with the support of the park board and the city, we've been able to grow the leagues to nearly 140 by the end of the summer last year. We're well over 100 for the first league this year, with a lot of interest in the next league, which will start soon. So with that and the potential of the growth that we could experience with the addition of courts, I thought it would be prudent to join the park board when the opportunity became available to help not only with the pickleball, but with all of the activities that the Kearney does a great job with.
Awesome. Well,
So,
welcome. Do you have kids?
Kids are grown, 30 and 28. I've got 3 grandkids now, and yeah.
Teaching them how to play pickleball too.
The 5-year-old's pretty good.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Good. We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
All right, Eric, have you taken roll?
I have, but I wanted to mention to Greg, after your first meeting, you get the grace period, and then next month you have to bring donuts.
Okay. Slovinsky's okay. That's something out of Slovinsky's sorry. Probably need to do Slovinsky's, yeah.
Or tacos, that's Taco Bell, and
Taco.
you're in with Ryan. I have taken roll. Everyone is present except Allie and Dan.
All right. Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes from the April 19th meeting? And do I have a motion to approve them?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Minutes are approved.
Okay.
Public requests and petitions.
We have Jay Bettis, who is here, I do believe, with Jesse James Festival. Want to talk to the park board, requesting permanent rodeo shoots at Jesse James Park at the rodeo arena. And with that, I'll have former employee Jay Bettis come to the podium. And Dan, if you'd like to speak as well, please state your name and address for the record.
Jay Bettis, 7478 Southeast Cannonball Road.
Okay.
A lot of you I know, some of you I don't know. I did work for the city for 41 and a half years, retired a couple of years ago. For several years, we've done a bull ride at Jesse James Park. Got a phenomenal working relationship with the festival fellow. Yeah, that's a good answer. Now, we do have a really good working relationship, and what we're finding is the expense to do the bull ride, and my bull ride, money raised on it goes to a therapeutic riding program that operates out of my barn called Better in the Saddle. The cost of doing that bull ride just keeps going up and up. Because we have to pay somebody to bring everything in on semi, do the bull ride, tear it all down. Dan has to go through the same thing with the festival. So there's a group of businessmen here in town that are willing to help us do permanent bucking shoots, permanent back pins. That way it'll become easier for me to do my event. It will be a lot easier for the festival to do their event. And be no cost to the city at all. Our two organizations, as well as some private business people here in Kearney, are going to provide the funds to do this. And we're just merely asking for permission to do the work. I mean, there's not going to be any cost to the city or the park department or anything. It's all going to be absorbed through my organization, the festival, and some private donors that we have here in Kearney.
How do we protect it from vandalism? Is it movable or is it stationary?
No, it'd be stationary.
Stationary.
It'll be in the ground.
It'd be in the ground,
Is it metal or wood?
metal.
There'll be no maintenance.
No. There'll be metal bucking chutes, there'll be a metal roping pin, there'll be back pins are all made out of metal.
Is it very similar to what they bring in every summer?
Yeah,
It'll just
very
be,
similar to that, only there'd be 2 to 4 inch pipe drove in the ground and everything welded up and
It'd be better.
be secured.
Go ahead.
So it'd be a better situation.
Oh, far better, far safer,
Right, I was gonna ask that.
for either one of our events, as far as livestock goes.
Will you paint the metal and continue to have that painted, or is it just gonna be the natural metal? and
The
then
bucking
turn it-
chutes will be painted. The pins will probably just be a natural rust color. They won't rust out in our lifetime.
How large are the back pins?
About the same size as what's there that you see when you come to my bull ride or to the festival rodeo.
Is there gonna be an access gate for mowing or something like that we could do?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
The
There'll be
reason
access
being
gates.
is, we struggle, because the bleachers that are out there, we have to weed eat those except for right before the event, and then we move everything, and you know how hard it is to get the equipment out there to get those moved.
Yeah,
And the bucking chutes, naturally, we're gonna have to, we spray the arena right now, but getting in there and weed eating extra, and you know,
And
that
you
we
don't-
don't have any staff.
you don't need to. As far as the pins go, you don't need to do anything to them. Within a half hour, of them getting loaded up with livestock that's gonna be watered down. I mean, there's no need to go in there and mow it and keep it up, because do you agree or disagree?
Well, I think the thing about it is when you come into the park, you make that ride, if you look at the arena, you're really not gonna see that. You can't see it from the road.
All you see
You'll
is
see
our
the
bucket
bucket
chutes.
chutes,
Yeah,
but everything behind there, you won't.
that's
be
why
able
we're
to
gonna
see.
paint the bucket chutes. And we'll keep the bucket chutes maintained. I mean, we won't ask the city to do it. They get looking bad, we'll go in there and we'll go in there and paint them. Because Dan's right, that's what you're gonna see when you stand at the east end of the arena, you're gonna see the bucket chutes.
how many?
4.
That's the same amount you had, right?
2, yeah, it's same exact setup that you'll see July 29th when you come to my bull ride. It's the same setup. I don't think we'll have the time, I don't think we'll have this installed for my bull ride or the festival, but just because time frame.
So you anticipate probably fall.
I'm hoping by fall we have it there, and I hope this fall somebody will be wanting to use it and having another event in the park, if it's all there. Because it's expensive. I don't know what the festival spends on the rodeo. I spend $20,000 doing a 2-night bull ride, and the biggest part of my cost is paying the people to haul the equipment in and set it up and then tear it down. So, this is gonna save us money, it's gonna make more profit for these handicapped people that ride in my barn, that's what this is all about for me.
So outside of the 2 events that you're talking about, it'll be used additionally as well?
It can be.
Yeah, it can be. I mean,
That's revenue for the park.
It'll be sitting there.
Once it's there, it can be used.
Yeah,
Does this change the liability compared with the chutes that were hauled in by someone and set up by somebody and torn down each time? if these are a fixed event, does this change the liability to the city? Or does
I
that
wouldn't
alter it in
think
any
so.
way?
Our liability, whatever event's going on, that liability for that event will cover that.
And outside of,
We
we
may-
both have to get liability insurance for our event, so that'd be covered during the event. When we're not having an event there, it's gonna be no different than the bleachers or anything else that's out there that belongs to the city.
Who's gonna install this?
Excuse me?
Who is gonna install it?
Well, we don't know for sure. We've been talking to a gentleman that does panels and stuff at my barn, that, a young boy that is really, really good. Brady Sims is gonna help out with getting some bucket shoots for us, and he's involved in it. And, if we can raise the money that people have told me, the involvement that I have in place, I think we'll be able to hire, Jake, you won't know his name? I can't remember. It's Jake.
Same guy that's been out there.
Lives at Polo, he's phenomenal, welder.
So are
Jake
these
Engel.
already prefabbed and then you just come in and attach them except for the main posts?
Yeah, you have to do a little bit of altercation, you know, for the alleyways and stuff, there'll be some altercation for them, but for the most part, the panels will be built and brought out, pipe will be drove in the ground, they'll be welded up and a lot more solid.
Very
And then that's gonna all be welded together so it can't be stolen, correct?
It'll be permanent.
Okay.
Yeah,
Really,
Good.
heavy, right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, we want it solid, you know, of course, for a rodeo or a bull ride, you want something solid and secure, and,
Mhm.
this will be, very solid.
But you don't think it'll be done in time for your festival and your bull ride?
I almost know it won't be done for my bull ride. There's an outside chance we might be able to get it done for the festival, I don't know.
We're trying to expedite it.
Depends on a lot of
It'd be
things,
nice.
depends on the weather, depends on, how quick we can get material, it depends on how quick, material's hard right now to get, so.
If I may ask, how much are these gonna cost both organizations, or is it a 50/50
It's
type
going,
deal?
it's
or-
going to be a combination of both organizations and private donors, probably around $45,000.
Any other
So,
questions?
I was just gonna ask, I've attended the bull riding and such, and I think it's a great, community event, good for families, people of all ages you see there and such like that, and, but, the Derby, is it in the same area? I didn't know if it was or wasn't, it's off to the,
It's off to the south.
it
It's
has
off to
its
south, okay.
own field.
I
or
mean, I know they're
whatever.
hitting other cars, I just didn't want them to hit the fence, this bull riding fence and
I
such.
think it hurt the cars more than it would.
They're much more than with the fans, but I don't think, they're pretty far to the south. I don't even get up there in that area.
Yeah, I did,
So,
I
unless
just
there's a renegade.
forgot where the two were held, I thought they were in about the same
Always a
proximity.
chance of a renegade, but if that was to happen, we'd fix it, you know. We're not gonna come back to the city and say, hey, you're.
No, I'm not too worried
We're
about
gonna
that.
damage
I'm not
it.
worried
We'll
about
fix
that.
it,
I just
you
didn't
know.
know if it was, if it was in
Yeah.
the same area. I had forgotten.
So do you need a motion from us to
Correct.
allow them to proceed with this project?
Correct.
All right. Do we have a motion that would approve Jay to proceed with the project of installing and donating 4 chutes and back pins to the existing rodeo arena? Anybody want to make a motion? To do that? In a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. There you
Thank you
go.
very
You got a lot
much.
of work cut out for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
If
you.
Thank
One,
you.
one last request, if you do have any images or pictures of this thing, could you forward that on to one of the members so we can just at least look at it amongst
Yeah,
this group?
I've got a diagram, a sample diagram of the bucket chutes and back pins. I'll get that to you.
Yeah, that'd be.
Appreciate it.
Or we can send you a satellite view of another one that's very similar to it.
Yeah, that's what I've got. I've got a satellite view of basically what we was talking about doing.
Send it to me.
I will. I'll
It's
get it
just
to you.
tubular metal, I'm guessing.
And don't make your wife do it. Use.
Well, if it gets done, she'll have to, because I don't know how to do that stuff. I don't know how to do that any more than I did when I worked here.
That's what I said.
I know
Thanks for your
that's why you
time.
said it.
Thank you, Dre.
Thank you.
Guys very much. Good to see all of
Take
you.
care.
Thank you.
Give me those drawings too, Dan, please.
Yes, yes. I will.
All right.
I'm pretty sure that the arena that is there now was donated by the Optimist Club and installed and given to the city. Is that correct?
It was installed by, and in fact, Kenny Barham was a major
Mm-hmm.
person when they took out the old fencing and put the new posts in and.
Because we used to, when they used to have the rodeo and the horse shows come, they actually had to rent all of that
Yes.
as well.
Yes,
And
they
so
did.
that's why that was installed, was
Yep.
to save on that cost. So this
Yep.
is just an upgrade
Right.
to the previous gift that was given. So I think it's fantastic. Cool. Mhm. All right, do we have a public request and petition from Marion Hood
Marion could
too?
not make it,
Okay.
and their event is going to be in September, so she said she'd come next meeting.
Next month.
So, yeah, we'll table her until the next meeting.
All right, on to old business.
Let me make a note here.
Spring sports.
Yeah, so we just started our soccer last Saturday, the 14th. Everything went just wonderfully. Like I mentioned before, we have record number of kids in soccer this spring, so we're very excited about that. We started our baseball, t-ball, and softball games last week, and those have all been going well. So we're just kind of humming along. Pickleball league, youth pickleball leagues getting ready to wrap up, and I think we're almost done with adult, aren't we?
Adults got about 3 weeks left.
3 weeks? Okay. For some reason, I thought we were a little closer. But yeah, so everything's just going along great, and we are enjoying record numbers of participants in nearly everything this year. So Carney wants to get outside.
Yeah.
So that's
That's
awesome.
awesome. Good.
Good.
I had a question about the pickleball.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know the cost. I don't think it's astronomical and such, but is there any way that the city could purchase some rackets and balls for people who may be of low income that could get into that thing, so it's not like a barrier for them to play?
Well, I have to check on policy as far as, it's a real fine line whether we're able to give stuff away.
No, not give.
We certainly have stuff where they can use.
Right, that's
And
what I'm
we
saying.
do have that already.
It does exist.
Uh-huh.
Yep,
Yeah.
all they have to do is contact us, and
Yeah, we can check it out.
when we first started, we had a bunch of people come in to City Hall, and they're very, very beginner rackets, because we didn't want them not being returned, and we basically just did it as a, come in, here you go, bring it back, and we give them rackets and balls so they can go out and learn the game, see if they like it before they decide if they want to go purchase rackets. And things of that nature.
That's great.
That's cool.
If we can announce that, or, somehow get that out, maybe.
So they just call City Hall and ask to
And
borrow
if they
some
talk to
rackets.
the ladies, they'll transfer them down, and if we're out, which we're out of the office a bunch, we'll return their call and just tell them, hey, stop in a certain time, and if we're gonna be out, that we know we're gonna be out, we'll leave them up here with the ladies with the name on it, and the ladies will give it to them.
I mean,
That's
but I think
great.
if they just checked, if he checked ID for one, checked ID, and is it like a 3-day policy or 1 day, or just give them a,
Yep.
a return type policy, that's great. I didn't know that existed, so I'm sure many other people.
Greg,
don't
do
know
you
that it
run
does.
the pickleball Facebook page for Carney, or?
I don't. There's a Excelsior Springs Kearney Facebook page that
Uh-huh.
I'm not associated with it other than what I post from what we do with the league stuff.
Okay,
So
I wonder if somebody could.
Ally-
I'm
Ally
not
might
in
know.
it. Somebody
I
could
mean,
make
that's,
a
I feel
post.
like that if they're already on a pickleball page, they probably don't need to borrow a racket. However, you know, we put that just on the Kearney Parks.
That would be a great idea. Just
Yeah.
make a little announcement. Did you know that you
Yeah.
could borrow
That's a great
rackets
idea.
at City Hall?
it might be good with the new courts to put up some signage with some verbiage like that on it.
Right,
Mhm.
yeah, that's a
That would be,
wonderful
you know, if we
idea.
had some sort of a
In the new complex, yeah.
you know,
So I mean,
placard and whatnot, so, you know,
That
to,
would be nice.
we're expecting some major growth, you know, once
Oh,
that
yeah.
complex goes in.
Mhm.
So
I
I mean,
bet.
that's perfect. That's a great
Are
idea.
you
Yeah,
anticipating
okay.
even tournaments? I mean,
Absolutely.
bigger
Yes,
tournaments
Absolutely.
Yes.
from other states, people coming in, yeah.
We're expecting big things, big
Awesome,
stuff,
awesome,
nationally ranked tournaments.
great, great.
The World Series of pickleball.
That's right. We did it with
Carney
So
baseball.
I think that might be trademarked. You might,
All right, is that all for spring sports?
that is all for spring sports.
Okay, irrigation system at Lions Park.
That was just completed Friday of this last week. It's completely taken care of, and the system is on. Now all we have to do is pay for it when they send us the invoice. So the install went really well.
Yeah.
No lines were hit as far as with the irrigation, so that's a bonus because there was a lot of electrical lines out there. That will help us tremendously this year once we get in the dog days of summer. Because last year we were out there at 3 a.m. changing hoses to keep that grass.
We would actually trade off times. I'd usually take midnight, he'd take 4. And yeah, so every night and we were watering almost every day because, you know, we just put that sod in last year. So it was wild.
And not only did we do the regular grass, we did behind the little pavilion, the band shell in the southwest corner of the park, there is irrigation for the plants as well. So
Yeah, those are actually probably the neatest ones, honestly, 'cause they come up out of the ground. They're all of 2 feet tall. I mean, it's pretty impressive how much water they put out.
So we have that done, and one thing I wanted to let you know, we call it part of the park because it's a city building, is the old firehouse building. Is the siding is on, the new windows have been installed. Also, there will be a new roof going on the building as well. So that's a complete upgrade, new guttering. The doors will be painted as well. So it's a complete overhaul to that whole
It looks
entire.
beautiful.
It
Yeah, it's a
does.
nice
It
new
looks
look.
really
Looks
nice.
good.
So the paint was naturally always coming off, and thank you very much to Ply Gym for their generous contribution to that, for all the siding. So anyway, that's all I have under old business.
All right, new business, maintenance in the park.
If you've noticed, a bunch of the dandelions and weeds have been exterminated. That is not a favorite thing of Ryan and I in the parks. We don't like to see it. I think it makes the parks look trashy. Not only have we done the parks, we go out and we spray the police station, and the east side police station, the Big Hill. We do 19th Street across from the Mormon Church and Community Covenant. That just got done yesterday and today.
105 Main.
105 Main, the lot over here, the water plant, the street department on 19th Street, all of that. We still have some trail to spray in Jesse James Park. We usually go 1 or 2 passes along the trail. We just can't do every stitch of the park, but the majority of the park areas, all the soccer fields and the baseball fields and everything is trying to get rid of those ugly puffballs and the yellow flowers. And so to try and make things look nicer.
We put in a lot of hours on that gator.
Yes,
We're
both
up-
gators.
Yeah, we're up over 3,000 on our old one, so.
If you've been out to Jesse James Park, you've probably seen some millings just in piles. We continue to put those down to make a better base before it turns to the grass area. And also up around the bathroom, jumping on the spot areas at the amphitheater. We put another many loads. The street department did that for us on the road leading back to our dog park. And hopefully next year we'll widen that to 2 lanes. That's what we'd like to do, and then have that overlaid. This way we can get the millings down, get a good hard base for a year, and then next year come back and have a paved surface going back to the dog park. That's our plan. So hopefully that can be accomplished, and that'll be a lot nicer. Continue to mow every day. The grass is growing really fast. And, our 2 part-time, or I shouldn't say part-time, seasonal help will start after school is out. One of our young guys that's a high school senior this year, he's still involved in track, excuse me, in track. And then we have a new one starting, so we'll have 2 seasonal employees this summer, which will really help. A new guy will be on a weed eater really quick, so we'll break him in nice. That's all I have. As far as maintenance, that's what we've got going on. Unless you guys have any questions or something, because we see things, but we don't see everything. So if you see something that you think needs to get taken care of, let us know, because it's repetition to us, and sometimes we, don't see things.
This is my 15th spring here. This is Eric's, I don't know.
Well, I'm 60.
Yeah, he turned 60 this year, guys, so it's been, he's seen many springs.
So, as you all know, I'll just jump to the splash park. We turned that on this last week. Thank goodness that we decided to get things taken care of and fired up the week prior, because we were told to turn that on, and Ryan got that taken care of this last weekend. Seems to be a big hit with the kids, so we've got tons of shelter rentals, cabana rentals. And what we did is, I know last year, prior to opening, we discussed the in-town fee to the out-of-town fee. It was getting so much for the ladies upstairs to, because we don't have a credit card machine downstairs. So they'd call us and we put it down, and then we'd have to tell them to call the ladies upstairs and give them the credit card number, and we'd have to tell them what it was. Then they'd send us an email back saying it was paid, then we'd have to mark it off that it was paid. We went ahead and just did one lump sum, one fee. It'll take out the ladies up here. They can do it online, and it's picking up where, we get an email saying that the shelter reservation has taken place. We write it on our calendar. That way it just eliminates a lot of headaches. So everything for the shelters are done online. All you have to do is kearneyparks.com.
Yep. There's a section on there that says facility reservations. You can go there and rent a shelter in Lions Park, Jesse James Park. You can also rent ball fields through that. So that was pretty arduous task to set all that up, but I got it done in about 9 hours.
He asked me I went out, took pictures, that way people would know the swing set shelter as compared to the shelter by the slides. This way they would know what shelter they were getting. Same way with the pavilion. Took pictures of the cabanas, 2nd Street, 33 cabana, bathroom shelter, crate shelter. That way they know exactly where
What they're
they're,
looking at when they reserve it.
when they reserve it, so.
What's the flat fee now?
So it's the,
Go ahead.
it's the resident fee. So for the big shelters in Lions Park, it's 100, for the cabanas is 50, the stage is 50, for the shelters in Jesse James is 35.
Next year, we will probably, we don't know if we'll ask for an increase on the actual shelters and cabanas, but we will probably come to you for shelter reservations, the $35 fee. Probably will ask that to be bumped up.
Probably get it in line with the cabana.
Yeah.
But like from a square footage perspective, they're pretty similar.
So, and it's still on a 3-hour time frame, and go about it that way. So this year, you know, we're already into the season, but for next year, we'll probably come and ask to review all of the shelter rentals and in all of the parks and go about it that way.
Great, amphitheater.
Yes, so it's amphitheater season. Spring's always crazy for us because we have the start of, youth sports. Everything's literally growing like weeds. And then we have the start of the amphitheater season. It all kind of happens at once. So it's always I'd say our most stressful time of year. I think Eric would agree. But we are ready to go. We are almost done with the sound system, the new snake install at the amphitheater. Brian actually had to order a couple of additional parts, and he actually touched base with Eric, so I was working on a project that day, so you can probably fill him in better than me.
What he did is when we went to digital, he thought it would be smart, and he taped all of the Cat 5s together and put them in this way. If one goes out, also he has that. Well, he can't get the new Cat 5 in with that, so he's gonna have to pull all of the old Cat 5 out and.
I think Power 2, or no?
Yeah,
Power 2?
in Power 2.
So he had to order additional power cabling, but.
Right, and he's got everything labeled with different colors, but he says he'll pull that in. He said, but if one goes bad, I'll know which one it is, and it'll be labeled on the inside and also down in the pit area. So it'll just work slick. And he said, live and learn, but he's taking care of it. The new connections in the box, even though it's protected from weather, there's condensation that still happens in there. These are weatherproof connectors, and at the end of the year, he can put a weatherproof cover on those, and that way they're sealed, and he said they'll last a lot longer.
Yeah, an additional
protection.
Yeah, additional protection, yeah.
If that goes sour, which hopefully it won't, we have a backup system now, right?
We do. We actually have a backup, a secondary and a tertiary.
Okay.
Worst case scenario, we're essentially running a glorified Cat 5 Ethernet cable, and snaking it basically from the stage down along the edge of the concrete there and up to the front of house pad. And we've actually done that before on the bigger shows. When we have to rent a system, that's what we have to do. And that, that cable's provided to us then, but we now own one of those magic special cables.
Great.
So worst case scenario, we're still having a show.
Hopefully that will never happen, but I thought
I
I
hope
have to
not
ask.
to. Last year was enough for me.
And we ordered an extra board in case a board goes down, a computer system. We have a backup board.
And I also purchased 2 new signal processors last year as well. So we have lots of redundancy.
That's good.
It was nice to be able to, purchase that redundancy and have some peace of mind.
And we're ready to go with Larry and the Knights of Columbus again, running our concessions and beer sales. And also the Knights will partake in the Oktoberfest event as well for us, October 1st. And they've been great partners. I mean, they're always asking us, so he can get his cups ordered and here on time. Are we done with it? And I understand where he's coming from. Sometimes we don't get to the right answers right away as fast as you'd like them, but we we get him, the answers as quick as we can, and, they're just really good to work with.
Yep.
I know you know, people don't like Johnny on the spots. We understand that, but, those will be delivered, the 16th, because we have some graduation parties out there this upcoming weekend. No, the
20th.
Thursday they will be delivered. We went with a different company and, much better. They're
They've
clean
been
on,
really responsive as far as.
yeah, if we have a
Yeah,
situation,
issue.
they're out there that day to take care of it, because you never know, it can happen over a weekend, and then Monday, some people go to, the pickleball. In fact, Greg said something, and we had him out there and clean it again, and, it just seems to be working a lot better, so.
Our first concert's gonna be, week from Saturday, May 28th. It's our annual Blues Fest event. Group called Levittown is headlining. They are just phenomenal. They've had a lot of changes over the years. Unfortunately, one of their members passed away a couple of years ago, so they've had some changes in their lineup. But they sound amazing. I've just seen them recently. And we have another group called Mike Bourne and Kansas City Boogie, who are just absolutely top tier, phenomenal, really tight musicians. I can't oversell how good of musicians they are. And then thirdly, we have a 2-piece all-woman band called Womanish Girl. And they are phenomenal. It's Katie Guillen. Some of you know her and have seen her before. She's one of the best guitar players in the Kansas City area. She's back with a 2-piece, and so we're really excited to see what they do with it. So again, that's May 28th.
By the way, you guys all get in free, and we like to see our park board members out at our parks. So, your names are at the gate.
No, actually, they pick up the tickets from.
Oh, they have to, that's
Yeah,
right.
We
That's
changed
right.
that last year.
Yes,
You can get tickets in person from Becky. I almost said Shirley, but it's Becky up there.
that's
And
right.
She'll get you the tickets, and you just write down, what you got, basically.
Can we get the tickets for the whole season at the
Yeah.
same time?
I did that last year.
Good,
You sure can.
okay,
Takes them a while to pull them all up.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's convenient. All right, Hall Park.
We have a meeting with Steve Casey, who helped us with the grant at Lions Park. And Hall Park, we discussed this way back when. Julie, I know you were on the board. Connie, I
Yes.
think so. That's been a project that we just have not had funding to do. And the Hall family donated that land, and we are wanting to do that and revisit that site. Ryan and I looked at the plan that we all approved. There's only a couple of very minor changes that we'd like to see differently. And I know that I remember one of the members said they want to see a sidewalk in there. There's going to be a lot of walking areas for the senior. It's going to be nice.
Yeah. I think we're gonna end up with about a quarter-mile kind of meandering trail through there.
Yeah, but Steve is coming up with us to walk the site. The grant application process, the next grant availability is in August. We don't know what the budgetary figures are, but they saw what we did at Lions Park. We don't know if we'll get anything. It's a crapshoot because we just received a grant, but we're gonna give it a shot, and
Yeah, absolutely.
any money's better than no money at all.
I wouldn't hold my breath for the full amount for a project like this. It's not,
Right.
it's not as exciting, quite frankly, as something like a splash park. However, like Eric said, any money's better than no money. So
Yeah,
we're
the
gonna
dollar
try
amount
for
won't
the-
be like what it was. Well, you never know. with the
We're
price of
definitely gonna
everything.
request the full amount.
Right.
Whether we get it or not.
Whatever we can get, we can get. One of the things I know that we talked about was the outdoor recreation fitness equipment. And from when we discussed that to what they have now is just night and day different. It's state of the art where the seniors can go and get great exercise instead of going to a gym, being intimidated by a gym. Go out, exercise on their own pace and use these, and they're all encapsulated, so they're made to be outdoors. And that's one of the main features that Ryan and I really are pushing.
Yeah, they're almost maintenance free, almost. But they can be left out year round, so that's really cool.
I remember, I know we talked about having some benches or some swings or gliders or something. And they were incorporated into the trail system, but I don't think there were very many. I think there was like 2 or 3, and I'd like to see a lot more if you're gonna look at revisiting the plans.
One thing.
Having more benches,
when-
more seating for walking and stopping and
Right.
walking and stopping.
One thing that we will have to do, even if we don't get the grant, say we apply for it, but we don't get anything, while we are applying for this, we will do the same open house thing that we had to do. We have to have a public comment. So at that time, he will come before us, before you, I should say, and get your feedback again before he does a final drawing, where then we will have our open house like we had the last time. So there's going to be some steps where you guys will be involved again to tweak whatever your wishes and things of that nature. And then we'll do the open house and then apply for the grant. So look for Steve down the road, I would say in July, because we will have to have that. And if we have to have another meeting for a public input, that's what we'll do. So I do know at least in June, he'll have pretty much everything wrapped up. I would say July will, hopefully he'll have it wrapped up in June where we can discuss it. And only have one meeting that we have to have and in July before we go to requesting.
Has he done many senior parks?
Not very many senior parks, but I do know that they have a senior theme park down in Lee Summit. I think it was done prior to him being there, but he is, that's his forte is parks, and he is getting to the age of like I am now at the age of 55, where he is saying what older kids like me, a child, would like to see. And one of these days, in the next few years, I'll be using that instead of going to a gym. So he'll do a great job for us. He'll tweak or he'll put back in what we decided we liked, what we don't like, and go about it that way.
Is there a way to get the seniors in the community involved in maybe like a
That'll be
focus
part of
group?
the public comment
Okay,
process.
Yeah.
where they can look at it and say,
Yeah.
oh, I'd really like
That's,
this, or,
that's kind of the point of the open house and the public comment process. Well, really more the public comment
And
process.
here's the thing, Shirley goes down to the senior center
Mhm.
all the time. We can request that she take down to the senior center.
And
and
she's on
say,
the board, so.
hey, this is what they're thinking of doing in, at Hall Park, and it's gonna be a senior themed park. No playgrounds and things like that for the kids. It's gonna be geared towards you all.
Mhm.
And let them look at it, and then she can tell, hey, there's gonna be a public comment, you know, at this certain time. We'll have to publish that.
Yeah, it has to be noticed up and
Yeah.
everything has to be like official. That's part of the grant process. Did you have this? Yes.
You
we
have to
read it
have
this
so
day.
many meetings, so many notices.
We have to show them where we advertised everything.
Yep.
All that stuff. You know,
But
it's-
having a public meeting could be intimidating or not accessible to some of our seniors, whereas if Shirley could take it down there and just get their ideas,
Sure.
and then she could bring it back to
Sure.
the public meeting
Yep.
and say, this is the feedback I'm getting.
Right. And she'll let us know the truth, what they're saying, and so on and so forth, so.
Connie, back to your question about the benching and stuff like that. I mean, I've been in parks and stuff, and you always see memorials for different things. What's that procedure look like, and is that a possibility to get?
We have those
additional-
at Lions Park.
Yeah, we have.
Okay, so I mean,
Mhm.
is
There's a-
Almost all of
there's
our
a plan
benches
in
are
place.
memorial benches at this point.
Mhm.
Even in Jesse James Park.
Yeah.
In fact, we have two that we have, if we can ever get caught up on mowing. Ava Holder, his mom is putting in a bench. We received the bench, and that will be going in Jesse James Park. And then in the dog park, Marva Keith is having a bench installed for, he died of COVID.
Ryan?
What?
Right.
You know,
It's okay. We have another one getting.
yeah, we have another bench that's going to be installed in the dog park area, and that bench is in as well. We just need to get some time, get the pads built, and get them set. So, and those are memorial benches as well.
Mhm.
We don't charge anything if, just so you know, we don't charge any addition expense except for what is billed to us. The concrete, if we can get the concrete donated, that's just a bonus. They pay the bench to what we pay for the bench. So it's not like we're making money on a memorial
There's
bench.
zero upcharge on
Yeah,
this.
zero upcharge. So.
What's the cost of that typically? Obviously, things have
Well,
gone
2
up
years
substantially.
ago, a bench that we have, the green benches that we have out at Jesse James Park were about $1,100. Right now, they're about 28. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
And 8 to 9 month wait.
8 to 9 month wait.
Wow.
It's just,
We had to really scratch and claw to get the Ava Holder one in, and that was like the last one. Like, someone canceled, we'll take it. Just deliver it right to us.
right.
So
You
the
know,
next benches are gonna be $3,000.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
And, you know, that's about in line with what the Lions Park ones cost. So,
Weren't those $2,650?
yeah, they're pretty close to $3,000.
Yeah. So it's just nuts. It's crazy.
Price of steel is going down.
All right, pickleball courts.
Yes, in your agenda packet, and Ryan can, instead of looking at the black and white, if you want to, Ryan can pull it up on the big screen. These are preliminary drawings, nothing is set right now because we had a meeting with Greg, Mayor, Ryan, and myself on what the pickleball players are saying they would like to see, a wish list. Doesn't mean that we can do all of it. And I'll explain that as we get further into the conversation. But this is what, well, even before we do this, that land, we are trying to do an improvement for the school in consideration for them donating the land that we have right there and the pickleball court area down. That land had land and water conservation funding when the high school built those tennis courts in the parking lot. We just got an email back from Patty and the people that helped us with that approved our project at Lions Park, that in fact is true, that is under land and water conservation funding area. It is, when you do that, it's in perpetuity, so forever and ever, that land has to be in recreation, outdoor use things. So, to make a long story short, there's gonna be a WebEx meeting with those people down in Jeff City. I sent them back because she stated June 23rd, and I think she meant Monday, May 23rd. So I sent her an email early when I got back in the office prior to the meeting to see when that meeting's gonna take place, to see if we can actually even get that land. So that could be a hurdle that we don't know. We're thinking that if we show them what we want to do with the pickleball courts, that bathroom, parking lot, things of that nature, lighting, it's still going to be outdoor recreation activity under the city auspices instead of the school. So that's the first hurdle we're going to have to cross. You know, if they say no, then this project will be scratched at that site. We'll look for another, but I hope that's not the case.
Yeah, I don't anticipate that being a huge issue.
But wanted to let you know that's what we're hearing as of right now.
We'll likely have to re-sign, you know, the LWCF pledge,
Right.
you know, with our blood oath and everything.
So anyway, let's get to what has been drawn so far. I took this and made a presentation before the P&Z, and it was unanimously approved for the site. The parking lot will have about 81 spaces. We think we'll probably take out a couple of the center ones. That way it'll be toward right there where his hand is, be easier access for turns. But ADA, we'll make sure that there's enough ADA. The entrance will be widened about 3 feet, a little wider entrance. It'll be concrete and asphalt over. That way it'll be a nice stabilization. To the west, the pickleball courts will be curbed, and then the drainage will go around from the south end down to the area, the creek area between Cookie Rickles' house and our area. So everything, the watershed will go down, and that is in a floodway right now. So everything is on the up and up with Dave and the floodplain, and he's with, is it FEMA and SEMA that he has to do that with. So we're all good there. The looks like little bricks to the right of that hand there, that will be to the skate park that we are reducing. We'll reduce that by about a third. We'll condense the skate park features. And if I miss something, Ryan, jump in.
No, in fact, you know, we actually had a question about that at the P&Z meeting about, you know, kind of pushing everything in towards each other. And one complaint that we've actually had from skateboarders is that they lose momentum in between the ramps because they're so far apart.
Everything's
So they
spread
have
out.
to kick, you know, in between, and that's no fun. So by pushing them together,
There you have it.
They like it.
yeah. So
So is that the existing skate park that you're just gonna cut through the tennis courts and leave it, or are you pouring
it's
like a
gonna be,
whole new
it's
pad,
gonna be
new?
a whole new overlay.
Okay.
Yeah, the skate park will have a new overlay. Naturally, they'll rip out the parking lot and build a whole new parking lot with new asphalt and everything like that. But the skate park that is there, we'll take out all the features. That will get a new 2-inch overlay. There'll be a dividing fence like it is now from the parking lot itself. It's just going to be smaller. All new lighting in the area, not only for the skate park, but for the new pickleball courts. And then there will be parking lot lighting, new parking lot lighting as well, all LED. And I didn't include the submittals for that in its lighting. You know, it is what it is, but it's sport lighting. It's similar to Musco, but doesn't have the Musco price tag. These people are out of Wichita. That's what they do. It's the company that they have. And I think I might have sent the email to Ryan in case you wanted to see it. But the little diagonal sidewalk that you see from the skate park and the parking lot is a walkway. It has to be like that with the grain of the terrain of the land. And to get to the bathroom, which you
has to
see
be
there, ADA accessible on a grade.
There's a certain grade it
Certain
can't
grade
exceed, and in
can't
order to
exceed.
achieve that, you have to do the zigzag.
So, and then the bathroom will be just like what we have at Lions Park, only different colors. And the color options right there is granite rock will be the main color instead of a brown. And that will also be the roof color because everything's concrete. Even though it'll look like shake shingles, just like what we have down here, it'll be that color. At the bottom will be the natural gray rock. And the barn wood will be the texture at the top half, just like it is at Lions Park, but the color of the granite. And then the shake shingle roof. So everything is the same as what it is at Lions Park, except the different stone and the different color. There will be a drinking fountain attached to the center of the building. Unlike, that's really the only change that we have is the drinking fountain. Right now, we asked, when we were designing this, we were asking Dan, because we wanted to have the bottled water, the dog water, and that. Right now,
They're more than a year out.
they're more than a year out.
So that might be something we can.
Something we still might be able to do, and it's something that we might see if we can get one there as an additional one, that's okay. All you have to do is tee off of the existing, but we want to keep the one that's on the building. Because that's plumbed directly in that they do, so that'll be beneficial. But we'd like to see another drinking fountain down by the pickleball courts.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is that the
Yeah.
only way to get water is
Right.
here at the bathroom?
It might be.
It might be. It might be. But here's the thing, it's not that long of a walk. It's not,
It looks like a lot here, but it's really not.
but if we can get another one, that's on our wish list to do. They'd have to run from there, they'd have to run water down to the pickleball court area. But we don't know the expense of that, but we talked to our architect, Dan Miller, and that's one of the wishes that we'd like to see.
If we are going for an international or, big
Right.
tournament,
Right?
is that one of the requirements of the proximity of water?
Well, we saw a video, I think Greg sent it, and we looked at that the other day, and it was a really, really nice pickleball court, and they had water coolers.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, if it's not gonna be that much more expensive and we can get it done, why wouldn't we do it from the get-go?
Right.
You know, instead of after the fact, let's trench in a water line now. Well, Jesus, why did
If we can
do
do it while it's under construction, that's preferable.
Yeah, so that's what we'd like to see.
But not every pickleball court has that, so it's
Right, no.
not like standard or expected.
if
One
they,
that's local in the greater Kansas City area that's kind of a model for what has worked real well in the community is at E.H. Young Park down in Riverside. And it's right on the river, and they've got a bottle fill and a water fountain at their location. It's heavily used.
when you said water jugs, that just made me think it would be convenient to have a hydrant or something to be able to fill jugs of like Gatorade or, you know, if you got the big water jugs.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's something staff could do,
Yeah.
honestly. Just putting in hydrants is not gonna be an issue.
No, in fact, that's what we did, over at Lions Park. Put in, when we had the water, they just, tapped into the water system and put a frost-free hydrant there. That way, if they don't wanna, you know, say they're using the bottle fill, but like you said, they wanna have coolers, well, there's a hydrant there that pour in their, powdered, Gatorade or Powerade and use that and have a bag of ice that they dump in a cooler, and they'd be able to use our hydrant right there for the water coolers. So Greg sent us some plans after he looked at this, and there's some modifications, and I know we're gonna have another meeting with Dan discussing some tweaks in the design, but I wanted to get this to you guys to let you know basically what we're looking at and so on and so forth. I know Greg would like to see a center aisle down there with extra gates so people don't walk through pickleball area while another pickleball game is going on while they're trying to get to their court. So there's still some tweaks that we're going to be discussing with Dan Miller and staff and the mayor and Jim. And naturally, we're going to include Greg in those conversations and see what it is.
So is this 12 courts?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, 12 courts. And we want to be able to, the sunshade structures, you're not getting, I don't care, the sunshade structures that you have here or anywhere in the world, at some point, you're not gonna have shade right over them because of the way the sun is coming. The thing we wanna do is minimize the shade that goes onto the court. With the size that we have there, where we wanna set them, that won't be a problem. They don't, we've been in those enough that 10 feet with the shade and the sun, I think we'll be okay. We want to make sure, we talked about it in staff meeting last Wednesday, I think, when we talked about getting an outbuilding where we can store roll dries, where we can hang the roll dries on the fence when it rains and they want to get them dry for play. That's no big deal. We want to make sure that we can get some easy up tents. That way over the bleachers, that way people can put just like they do at baseball games, easy up tent, put it over the bleachers. At the end of the day, if it's a tournament and we have Greg or Allie or whomever is conducting the tournament, they'd be responsible for putting that away. Blowers and things of that nature, to make sure everything is nice and tidy. So there's some things that the building isn't located there, but we put that towards the back, make sure it's under lock and key. And that way to resist the vandalism. One thing that's not on here that both Ryan and I have talked about is we want security cameras.
This, I can't imagine a world in which we spend, over $1 million on a project and don't have security cameras.
Especially so close to the high school.
Yeah, that's one thing for Eric and I, that's gonna be a real drive home issue. I don't think we're gonna have too much pushback after the incidents we've had in Lions Park and everything. But that's definitely gonna be the issue. And actually Greg had a great idea, possibly leveraging those cameras to do a 24/7 live feed on YouTube and stuff. And
Oh,
he explained it, and I hadn't thought of this, but you know, he's a pickleball player. There's a lot of courts. People come from out of town. We have a guy from Topeka playing in our league. That's right, isn't it? Yeah.
Topeka, St. Joe, Raymore.
Yeah. So we have people coming from out of town. Wouldn't it be nice to know if there's courts open in Kearney? Yeah, just pop on there. I mean, we're already going to have the cameras in place. So
Oh, that's
I think
cool.
we could leverage that and
It's
make
a
that
cool
work.
idea.
It's not just that, even the folks that drive from as close as Excelsior and whatnot, you know, they've
Yeah.
got comments. As we've discussed this, and they've said, well, it'd be nice to be able to jump on, see who's up there, you know, is there my skill level of players or an open court that I can come up there and just play with?
Yep.
And it would be very unique. There's nobody doing something like that.
Mm.
And one thing that led me to think about this was if we're going to a beach or, you know, there's all kinds of like beach cams that are live streaming that you disable the comments, so you don't have to worry about managing that. You can just go and look, and it's just, again, one more thing that would set us apart from
Yeah, and if
what
we
everybody
already
else is
have,
doing.
I mean, if we already have the cameras, we're assuming we're going to have an internet connection there. So those cameras got to feed to somewhere. So, you know, it seems like a no-brainer, and I really like the idea, so.
What is the pickleball etiquette as far as like open courts? Is there reservations for these things? Or is there a time limit if it's full? If it is a full court, I mean.
It's kind of like basketball where
First come, first serve.
whoever's got next,
Plays
you
it.
know?
Okay.
But there is actually a number of different ways to rotate. And you'll go from, for example, there's paddle stacking, which is kind of a rotational process. You can designate certain courts to be for certain skill levels. You can designate certain courts just to be an open challenge court where anybody could go and challenge and play. And there's different etiquette rules as to how that works. There's also a system where you have a whiteboard with a number of squares placed on it, similar to like you'd have a blank calendar board. And people can go in and that board would designate the rotation. You'd write your name in. If you were playing solo and then, you know, say we showed up to play, we'd write our name in and get a fourth. And then when that court becomes available, we're the next team on. If there's four of you who all want to play together, you all write your name in the next box and you all four going together. So there's a number of different systems.
So you're gonna write the rules and we're gonna make a big sign with.
Yeah, that's why we got a pickleball guy. Isn't it convenient?
It is. I mean, I don't know anything about it. So
Yeah.
it's like if I wanted to show up today and I drive by and the thing, everything's full, I'm like, yeah.
We're gonna have big signs.
We'll
Yeah.
figure something out.
It'll be pretty too.
There's
The
certain,
John Costa sign.
There
there's
you
certain
go.
places that the rules become so obtrusive that you just got rule enforcers that are
Right.
constantly, you know, so it can,
Yeah.
I'd rather not it be so rigid.
Right, just
But
kind of basic, some, you know.
Some structure.
Some,
Like basketball.
some basic etiquette,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Getting back to the cameras though, real quick, why, not only that'd be a bonus to and unique, as we stated, but the cameras caught another vandalism in Lions Park.
Can't really,
Another one.
can't really share anything about that one yet, but the person's been caught already.
Good.
So, yeah,
Can you
I got
share
it
what the
correct.
vandalism was?
pardon me?
Can you share what happened?
Yeah,
What
we
the
can tell you
vandalism
that.
was?
So, go ahead.
We caught, there was some loose stone from the winter at the top, and we had them come back and put it back down, re-mortar the areas at the bathroom area, and then do a new seal with caulking around the top so the water doesn't go down and pop stone off. That day they were there, got it all done, looked really nice. That night comes and pulls off
A brick.
a brick.
Yeah, their caulking takes a while to dry, I guess, and they ran just along with their finger all the way around the thing, scooping it out. But the individuals have been caught already. So
And they destroyed the koala bear baby changing stations.
Yeah, in both bathrooms.
In both bathrooms.
And we actually, it's kind of funny the way the camera's angled. They were holding the door open, talking to each other, like somewhere in the bathroom, somewhere out. and the camera hits the mirror and it sees them sitting
Oh,
right
no.
on it, bouncing up and down on
Bouncing
the
up
baby
and
changing
down on the
station.
koala bear.
So, I mean,
Nailed it.
they had no chance.
Was this during the day or at night?
This was an 8
Evening.
o'clock at night. And these were elementary age kids.
Yes.
Higher into elementary, but still elementary.
When did that happen?
Couple weeks ago.
But we did the report, filed it with the police,
Yeah.
they're taking care of it, and we won't know their names because they're juveniles, and that's okay, but we will be asking for restitution,
Good.
so.
And we're working on getting a quote from the Mason to make all that stuff right.
How often is that park patrolled? Do we need to
I mean,
have some patrol?
as soon as they roll by though, I mean, unless we're parking someone like literally
Having an
in the
officer
park,
sitting
yeah,
there.
like they do at McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's, you know,
that's why cameras were a biggie for Ryan and I on that thing, and we kind of had to fight, and it's paid off twice for us.
luckily, we were very, very lucky that Kurt Hamilton and the mayor helped us raise money from outside the project for those security cameras. And so we're thankful for that because we, kind of had to find an alternate means of funding it. So, but they're there and they work, so.
That's why we want them out there as well.
So they'll be part of the funding.
Yes.
They're part of the
This go
plan.
around, they'll be part of the
Yeah,
project.
so that way it's not an issue. Yeah,
Nope.
good.
One thing we didn't mention about the bathrooms that, when we were going through and doing the colors and what we want and everything of that nature, the bathrooms will be stainless steel, they won't be the porcelain since it's out away. And at night, when the lights go off at 10 o'clock, at 10:15, those bathrooms have auto locks on them. So they'll be set. And they will go off and no one will be able to get in until the next morning.
Can they get out?
I was
Yeah.
gonna ask that.
Get out.
We get out,
You
yeah.
took my line.
It'd be an awkward 911
I've
call.
seen the movie, I've seen the movie Frozen.
That's funny.
So that's a feature that they have on there, and they said, you want auto locks? And I'm like, absolutely,
That's
Cool.
fantastic, yeah.
absolutely.
So pickleball courts, they're gonna have bleachers, you said?
Yes,
I remember talking about that.
yes.
I remember also saying something about an additional pavilion. Do I remember correctly? Is that part of the plans?
Not currently. It is something that, pavilion, are you expressing a pavilion over the court? Or
Not over the court.
so you're talking like shelter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, there will definitely be shade, that would be part of the shade structure, kind of infrastructure that would likely go on the path area between the courts.
That's what I thought I remembered. something like
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Now, if we have one path, two path, it's still, we're still gonna need shade structures, no matter how we dice this up. But, yeah, that's definitely part of it.
And we want to keep the bleachers so they're like 3 to 4 rung high. This way you don't have to have the fencing on the back and the railings on the back.
Right.
So there's just so many different features. It's all rules and regulations, and we have enough out there. And like we said, we want to get a building. That way we have extra tents there. The roll drives are a big thing that we've used on our baseball fields
Yep.
to shed water off of.
They work fantastic.
Yeah, so anyway, that's all I have on that, unless you have anything else you want to add, or?
No, I think we just need to see what happens with the redraw and
Right.
kind of where, I've given you all my notes on that stuff.
I can tell you, before the bathroom was even in place, or lighting or anything like that, this was done by McConnell and Associates, which did the high school tennis courts. Basically, what they were thinking was about $1.5 million. So, that's a ballpark as of November. Is that gonna be the figure? I don't know, but you're looking in that ballpark figure.
I would expect it to be pretty close to 1.5, given that we are probably gonna find savings with, the lighting company, I can't think what they're called.
Sport Tech.
Tech
Tech
Line,
Line.
Tech Line Lighting, yeah. Over Musco Lighting. Musco's kind of a, I don't want to say an industry standard, but they're definitely the industry darling when it comes to sport field lighting. And think of them as the Nike of sport field lighting. And you're paying a premium for the name for sure. Lights light, folks. And these are going to work really well. So I think we'll enjoy some savings there. But you know, this cost estimate was without the restroom, which is going to be about $100,000. So that's just what they cost.
Bleachers, you know, you're
Yeah.
gonna have the incidentals, the security cameras. But that's a good start. At least we know where we're at anyway as a start. So,
All right, do we have any more questions about the pickleball court? Any other board comments? Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, we are adjourned.
I need signature, please.